in SAP MM, that is called info
This
record.
conference will now be recorded.
Okay, so info record. Okay, so what is a info record basically? Sorry. Yeah. So info record. Info record is nothing but a combination of vendor and material. So which means this info record will have information about the vendor and the material. Okay. So once we maintain the information about the vendor and material individually on the SAP system, then the combination of both vendor and material information that is going to be maintained in the info record here. And actually, this is the highest level of master data, if you can say. Okay. Highest level of master data in MM. So, which means whenever we are doing any kind of the transactions, like raising PR, purchase requisition, and raising PO, at this point of time, the system picks the data or information, okay, from the info record, if exists, which means it's not mandatory that we have to maintain for each and every material and vendor combination an info record. So if we maintain the info record with this combination of the vendor material, then the system always picks the information or data from the info record only. If info record is not existed, then it will pick the data from the vendor master data, okay, vendor master data, and then it picks the data from the material master data. So this is the sequential way the system is going to pick the data from the master data that we maintain here. And as part of your info record, we are having four categories. Okay, we have four categories of info records here. So in these four categories, if you see, the very first one is standard. So for the standard procurement process also, we can maintain the info record, but it is optional. If it is required, then only we maintain. Otherwise, we don't maintain the info record for the standard procurement process here. And we do have one more pipeline. Pipeline procurement, it is mandatory. Okay, for pipeline procurement, it is mandatory here. And we have one more thing, that is consignment. For consignment procurement also, it is mandatory that we have to maintain the info record with the combination of the vendor and material. And the last one is subcontract. Okay, so for subcontracting also, it is mandatory. So these are the four categories of info record that we maintain in the SAP system for the for the combination of vendor material here. So first of all, we'll try to understand how exactly the info record is maintained, and then we'll try to understand clearly that how to create an info record in the SAP system with the combination of a vendor and material here. Okay. So here, info record. Okay. So info record, the maintenance of the information about the material and vendor information that we maintain in the info record. So this is going to be controls the number range. like how does the material type controls in the material master data the number range, and how does the account group controls the material master data in vendor master data. In the same way, for the info record also, it controls the number range. Either you can go for internal or external here. Okay, or we can use both. Depends upon the business requirement here. Okay, so how to define the number ranges for the info record, and what are the configurations that we require to do in order to configure and maintain the info record here. So if you go here, okay, it's taking some time. I see. Okay, yeah. How we are going to configure the info record here? So just go to the SPRO, to the IMG screen, and in the IMG screen, go to the Material Management. In this, go to the Purchasing, and here you're going to see the Purchasing info record here. Here you can see the Purchasing info record. To know the T code for this navigation, go to Additional Information, and Additional Information, Display Key, and IMG Activity. So then it will open an additional information which will give you the last four letters are going to be represented, the T code for the navigation that we've opened here. So first of all, we are going to define the number ranges for the info record, and the T code here is OMEO. OMEO is the T code to define the number ranges for the info record, purchasing info records. So just click on here and click on this maintain groups here, and here you can see there are so many groups that have been defined here. Don't worry about that. Just try to create one more group. Okay, one more group. For example, like Nestle group. Okay, so Nestle group I'm creating, and you can select the number ranges from 1 to 100 or something like that. Yeah, so already this is existed. So to know what are the free intervals are there here, okay, so just go to the number range here, intervals, you check it out. Okay, so 1 to 140 it is there. Yeah, 1 for 300, 400, yes. We have a free interval from 650, okay, we can say 601 to 640 is there. After that, it's not used, so we'll go for 650. Yeah. So here, click on groups and select create group and create a Nestle group, something like this. And then I'm using 650 to 800. This is my number range to store the info record in the SAP system, and then just click on continue. So we have created a group which is having the number ranges from 650 to 800. Now we have to assign that like info record type to the Nestle group here. So IN is the info record for stock items. That is number ranges for info record for stock items. That is the document type is IN. So select this one and click on element group and assign to the your Nestle group. So now you can see here, okay, so for the Nestle group, IN is assigned. which means whenever we create an info record with the combination of material and vendor, then the system automatically proposes the number from the number range that is 650 to 800 that we define here. Once you maintain the number ranges and assign to the group, then we can able to create an info record here. So to create the info record, go to the path in the easy access screen, logistics, purchasing, and here you can see master data, and here you can see the info record. So M11 is to create info record here. Now when you select here, see here what are the info categories is there. Yeah, so standard and subcontracting, pipeline, consignment, and chargeable. This is included, but these are the four or the standard info categories for which kind of the process that we can maintain the info record here. So it is asking the vendor here very first. So already we have created the vendor. So let us search with the company code. My company code is 3435. With this company code, how many vendors I created? Oh, yeah. So Birla, yeah, plastic, yeah, Houston, something like this. We have so many vendors are there. So I'm going for Birla here. And material. So what is the material that we created? So you can go with the search button and then you can search it. In the search also you have so many selections you can make it out. Based on this you can able to search for that. I'm using the material by material type here. My material type is ZNRH. So using this material type, what are the materials I created? Yeah. Okay. So here you can see 500643. This is the material I created. And the purchasing organization, which is 3435, I have already maintained here. And the plant also, for which plant that you want to maintain this info record with this combination of vendor and material here. So here you see the info record. So this is the info record number, a unique number through which that info record is going to be identified in the SAP system. So you can leave this field as a blank because we are using the internal number range. If it is external number range, then you should provide the number before you maintain the information of combination of the vendor and material information. Okay, so I'm leaving as a blank and I'm creating this info record for the standard procurement process only. Just you press enter, all the information is going to be picked from the vendor master data as well as from the material master data. It is because we have provided who is the vendor and also we have provided what is the material for which we want to maintain. So from the vendor master data already we have maintained the data, and in the material master data also we have maintained the information of this material. So that data is going to be picked up here. And in the general data it is picked up from the vendor master data and material master data, and you just press enter. Here it is picking up the plan and delivery time. It is from the vendor master data and purchasing group, and here it is asking standard quantity. So what is standard quantity here? That means this is the quantity that we regularly make order for the vendors here. So that means for this vendor for this material that we are going to raise the purchase orders for this standard quantity. For example, I am going for 50 bags. 50 bags is a standard quantity, and the minimum quantity here is, for example, 25, which means if any order which is should be raised with this material for this vendor, minimum of 25 bags, then only that order can be placed for the vendor here. So minimum quantity here is 25. And here it is asking the price. So what is the price this vendor is going to provide us for the material? For example, I'm going for $450. So per bag, $450 that the vendor is providing us. And just you press enter, and if there are any quotations from this vendor, that quotations are going to be updated automatically in this tab here. And here you find the conditions here. Conditions will explain that what is the price and the discounts and surcharges and taxes the vendor is leveraged on the business here. So just to select the conditions tab here, and it picked up the price as PB00. PB00 is the standard condition type for the gross price. And if this vendor is giving some other discounts, then those discounts are going to be maintained in different condition types. For example, he is giving a discount of RA01, which is a discount percentage on gross. For example, he is giving a discount of 2% on the grass. So then that is also you can maintain in the info record. Which means, as I have already said, that this info record is the highest level of master data. And in purchase requisition or PO, the system always picks the data from the info record if exists. Which means whatever the price that we maintain here, this price only picked up in the purchase order. And these discounts are going to be picked up in the purchase order here. So just you press enter and save the data. So now you can see a purchasing info record has been created for this purchasing organization for standard here. Okay, this is my purchase info record, purchasing info record number 9 and how many 7 threes and 5 0. This is the number that is generated for the info record. So like this way that you can maintain the info record with the combination of vendor and material. And this information is there within the zip folder that I have sent you. In the SAP zip folder is there. In that zip folder, you can open this MM. MM represents the material master. In the material master, if you open the document MM, so in the material master, you can see the info record here. Okay, so purchasing info record, how to create. So what is the types of the info records given here, and how to create a purchasing info record. Go to this path, and these are the T codes to create the info record. And here we are providing the vendor number, material, purchasing plant, and we are using internal. So we are leaving it as a blank. And what are the configurations we are going to do? We are going to make the number ranges here. That we are going with the IMG screen, and we maintain the number ranges for the info record here. And the info record general data, it is getting stored to the table EINA. This is the table where the data belongs to the general data is going to be stored. And the data is going to be copied from the vendor and material master data here. And next, purchasing organization data, the planned delivery time taken by the vendor to deliver the goods. First preference here will be given for the vendor master data, and then it searches for the material master data. So like this, I have given you some kind of the things to enter. Okay, and saving the purchase order here. Saving the info record. Okay, sorry. Okay. So this is the way that you're going to maintain the info record in the system for combination of the vendor and material here. Are you getting me, Robert?
Yes, yes, I am. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
So
Yeah.
one question there.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this info.
Hello.
Like,
Actually, I'm not able to hear you clearly. Yeah,
Okay, like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
like with a purchase requisition, okay,
Mm,
and you put the material in the
mm,
requisition. When you put the material number,
mm.
okay, will that populate the all the fields for that line item?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It will populate the line on the information about the line item in the purchase
Okay,
requisition as well as in the purchase orders also. Okay, but
I see.
whenever it is populating, so what is the sequence that the system is going to search and copies the data into your purchase requisition or purchase order is info record, then vendor master data, then material master data.
Okay, all right.
Okay,
Alrighty,
yeah,
carry on.
yeah, yeah. So that's what I initially said. So if info record existed, then the data is going to be copied from the info record only. If not, then it will go and search in the vendor master data, and then it will go and search in the material master data, and then that data will be copied to the your purchasing documents. Okay. Now the next master data that we are going to maintain in the SAP system, that is called source list. So what do you mean by source list here? Source list is nothing but managing the vendors. So managing the vendors is nothing but I'm having X material. For example, this material can be supplied by three vendors. For example, 101, this is the one vendor, 102 and 103. So every time whenever I get a requirement for X material, I've been keep on making order to the 101 vendor only. Okay, 101 vendor only. So in that case, what's going to happen? 102 and 103 vendors neglected or ignored here. So in some other times, in any emergencies, if we raise an order to 102 or 103 vendors, then they may or may not supply the goods to us. So to have some good relationship with all the vendors, what we are trying to do here is we'll maintain a source list with time intervals. So time interval, which means for 101, I will give you some. I will first 4 months of the year that I'm going to give the orders, and for 102, the second 4 months. Okay, and 103, the third 4 months in a year. So like this, I'm raising the orders to these vendors within the time interval, so that every vendor is going to be having some good relationship with the business, as well as in case of emergencies also, they are going to be able to supply to us, to the business here. If if the client is having this kind of the process, then we are going to maintain that information in the SAP system as source list. So how we are going to maintain this source list here? So the source list is going to be maintained at two levels basically. Okay, source list is maintained at two levels. So those two levels are one is the plant level and another one is at material level, material master level. Okay. So in the two levels that we are going to maintain the source list here. So how to maintain the source list in the SAP system? So here, when you go here, okay, so it's been continuously disconnecting. Okay. Okay. Yeah. So here, go to the path navigation. That is the logistics, MM, purchasing, and master data. In this, you find the source list here. So in the source list, if you open MA01 to maintain the source list, just click on here and maintain the material. As I said, the source list is maintained in the material level and plant level. So what is the material? So the material number. Okay. Basically, we'll search for the material number here. So I'm searching the material number by material type. And here my material type is ZNRH. Oh,
Are you back?
yeah, hello. Are you there?
Oh, yeah. Now you're back. Okay. I can hear you
Oh,
now.
okay. Yeah, it's been the same thing so many times. Yeah, so logistics, okay, and in purchasing, and here you find the master data and then source list M01 maintain. So here we are maintaining the source list for the material and plant. So here you select search your material number by material type, and here we have the material type as ZNRH. Yeah, so I'm going for the material number 500643, and as a planter, I'm maintaining 3435. Once you press enter, it is asking the validity dates. In these validity dates, what is the vendor for whom, for which vendor that we're going to raise the orders here. So, for example, you select the validity date from here. Today's 10th, and from 10th to, for example, 17th. So from 10th to 17th, I go for the vendor. Okay. Oh yeah. So we'll select it from the options. Yeah. So Birla Group of Company 3435. Okay. So and he belongs to the purchasing organization 3435. Yes. So which means this is the current period that is running. So in this period, whatever the orders that are raised for this material, for this plant, those orders are going to be sent to these vendors. And I'm going to provide one more validity period from 18th to, so 25th. For this, I'm going to provide the orders to one more vendor, okay, one more vendor within my organization. That is, for example, Plastic or US, and he belongs to the purchasing organization 3435, maybe 3436. Oh, okay. So maybe this vendor is not our vendor.
Yeah, I think that's the one of them I created. It may not
Yeah,
be
yeah,
right.
yeah. I got it. Yeah, you created it. Okay, that's cool. That's cool. Ah, okay. It's not created. So you have to extend the same and to other purchasing organizations also. So we'll go for this one. Oh, you have not yet created by this purchasing organization. You created some other thing. Yeah, let me do that.
Must have
Yeah,
I must be missing
XK01.
some. Sorry about that.
No worries, no worries, no worries. Okay.
I'm trying.
Yeah. You have to do that kind of the hands-on only. That gives you so much exposure to the system. So what I'm trying to do here is I'm extending this one vendor, 300801 vendor to other purchasing organization. That is 3435. And account group is ZN01. Currency and terms of payment, Incoterms, okay, so minimum order value and goods receipt based invoice and the purchasing group and for example 4 days. Region and the number is internal. For the number 370801. Yes, answer. Once we extend the vendor, then for 801 vendor, it will accept. Oh, we have to come from the first. ME01, that is to create the source list here and just press enter, valid from today's date to 17th day for the vendor, this one, purchasing organization. And from 18th onwards, the orders which are received, the orders which are going to be generated for the material 500643 are going to be sent to one more vendor within the same purchasing organization. Yes, now it is accepted. Now you have to click on this generate records. Either you can leave it as and save it. Source list is changed now. So whenever you generate any kind of the requirement of this material, then automatically the system will look into the source list and it will check the validity dates. Within that validity dates, what is the vendor that is assigned to that vendor only the system will propose to make a order. Okay, so for that reason, we are going to maintain the source list. And it is not mandatory that every client will have the source list. That all depends upon the organization and its business process. So if the organization is having this kind of the maintenance of the data, then we have to maintain that data in the source list. So the same information I have given. It's optional. We maintain the materials with vendors with specific time period with respect to the purchasing organization. It is determined at purchase requisition. Basically, the source list is determined at PR only, and it determines the vendor for whom the order to be placed, and it is going to be maintained at material master level and at plant level here. So, and if the source list is selected at the plant level, then for this plant, all the material source list records are must and should be maintained here. And how to maintain the source list that I have given here. And the source list record is going to be stored to the table EORT. This is the table where the source list is going to be stored here. I hope you followed me with this concept. Right,
Yeah.
Robert?
Yeah.
Yep. That's cool.
Yep. All good. All good.
Okay. So these are the 5 kinds of the master data that we are going to maintain in the SAP system in order to execute the transactions between the business and as well as vendors here. Once you maintain the master data, then using this master data information, whatever the information that you maintain, with that information that you are going to execute the daily business transactions like purchase orders, purchase requisitions, and RFQs, quotations, goods receipts, and all these kind of the transactions here. So these are all will come into the purchasing basically. So what do you mean by purchasing here? Okay. So purchasing, how the purchasing is going to be done here. So basically, we are going to have, okay, the standard business process always starts from the purchase requisition. Okay. So the very first activity that is going to be done in the procurement process is purchase requisition. Once the purchase requisition is raised, then with reference in the purchase requisition, we are going to maintain the material, what is the material that we require, and we are going to maintain the quantity, how much the material is required here. Okay. So once we know the materials and also once we know the quantity, then we are going to raise an RFQ, which means request for quotation. So which means we know the material, what is the material we require, and also we know how much quantity that we are required. So we'll look that who are the vendors who can supply these material this much of quantity here. Okay. So from that vendors, we need to select the best vendor. So what we'll do, we'll ask those vendors to send their quotations by using RFQ. Once the vendors receive this RFQ, they are going to send quotations. Okay. So those quotations we have to maintain in the system here. So whatever the quotations that we received, those quotations that we have to maintain. Once we receive the quotations from multiple vendors, then what we have to do, we have to compare those quotations. Okay, we have to compare those quotations. It is because who is giving the best price and best quality and best delivery terms. These are all the things that we are going to compare. Once a comparison is done, within that we are going to select one of the best vendor and then we are going to raise a purchase order. We are going to raise a purchase order to that vendor who is giving the best price to us. So these are all, okay, these are all whatever we have explained here. These are all going to be called as well purchasing documents. Okay, purchasing documents. What is the purchasing documents? Purchasing documents are nothing but they are going to store the purchasing information. Okay, so purchasing documents will store the purchasing information. What is the purchasing information here? It is the transaction between business and vendor. It is the transaction between business and vendor. So that is going to be the stored in the form of documents. That documents we are going to call it as purchasing documents. Okay, so what kind of the purchasing documents we are having? Purchase requisition and RFQ and quotations and purchase order. And other than this, we do have one more that is stock transport order. So within the business, if you are transferring the stock also, the receiving plant will generate one order for the supplying plant that we are going to call it a stock transport order. That means the receiving plant is going to be there, which is going to make an order to the supplying plant. So this supplying plant will receive a order something like stock transport order, and this will supply the goods to the receiving plant. Okay, so this kind of the all kind of the purchasing transactions that are going to be made between the business and vendor, those transactions are going to be stored to a purchasing documents, and those purchasing documents are classified into purchase requisition, RFQ, quotations, and purchase order and stock transport order. So these are all the documents, okay? So either purchase requisition or RFQ or purchase order or stock transport order, these are all are going to be maintained in two levels. in two levels in the SAP system. So those levels we are going to call it as header level and item level. Header level and item level. So header level means the data which belongs to the enterprise structure and also vendor master data. This data is going to be called as is going to be determined at header level. And at item level, the data is going to be determined from material master data. So this item level data is going to be specific. It is going to be specific to that material only, specific to that material only. But header level data is going to be applicable to the whole document. That means in the purchasing document, you may have so many number of materials. That is number of materials. For all those materials, the header level data is going to be applicable here. Okay, so header level data and item level data. These are the two levels of the data that is going to be maintained in every purchasing document. So these purchasing documents, okay, so whatever the purchasing documents are there, this header level data and item level data, what kind of the data that should be available in the header level and what kind of the data that should be determined at item level, this is going to be controlled by document type. Okay. So header level data is going to be controlled by document type and item level data is going to be controlled by the item category. Item category. Okay. So these are all standard document types have been given by the SAP system in order to record or in order to represent the transaction between the business and vendor. The transaction between the business and vendor. So we can make use of those document types, or we can also create our own document types by copying the existing one. So this is all the information that I have explained clearly in the purchasing process. The transaction between the business and vendor at purchasing recorded as a document, that is called purchasing document. And here in procurement process, standard process or consignment, any process, whatever may be, that is going to be recorded into a purchasing document. These are all the purchasing documents that we are having. And it is maintained at header level, vendor master data and enterprise structure and info record. This header level data is applicable for the whole document. Item level data is specific to that line item only. And here the header level data is going to be controlled by the document type here. And item level data is controlled by the item category. So what is the document type is going to control here? The same way how exactly the material type and account group are going to be controlled. In the same way, the document type is also controls the number assignment. That means whether you are using to record the transaction, whether you are going for internal or external. And also what are the kind of the fields which are mandatory, suppress and display and optional. That also controlled by the document types only. And what kind of the allowed item categories that is need to be allowed using this purchasing documents. So item category defines how the material should behave in the purchasing process, and that we can able to go with this path and we can able to see the item categories. But these item categories are standard item categories which can edit but we cannot create. So if you see here, yeah, so again. So SPRO, ING, and MM, we go for MM, and purchasing. In this purchasing, you have the navigation, that is define external representation of item category. You can go to here, no, okay. Define external representation of item categories. So the T code here is OMH4. OMH4 is the T code to represent the item categories. And here you can see these are all the standard item categories are there. Like for standard, it is no item category. For subcontracting, it is L. For consignment procurement, it is K. For third party, it is S. For stock transfer, U. Like service material, D. So like this, for each kind of the procurement process, they have given separate item categories so that the same material can be involved in that purchasing process, and then it is going to explain how exactly that material is going to be behaved in the purchasing process. That is going to be explained here. If I select the standard one, okay, so then it is showing material is required, yes, possible, and account assignment may be possible, inventory management possible. That means in the inventory the stock is going to be maintained, and goods receipt, yes, PO item is linked here, which means the goods receipts are going to be done. We receive the goods, but with reference to the purchase order only. And goods receipt indicated from changeable in PO. So that whether we are receiving the goods or not receiving the goods, so that can be changeable in the purchase order. So like that, the conditions are going to be provided for this item categories. Here, if you see, you cannot create your own any other item categories. You don't find new entries, but you can able to change as per your requirement here. Okay. So now how to what is the configuration that we required to configure the purchase requisition here. As I said, the document type is going to control the number ranges and field selection key. The same way here you can see in the purchase requisition, and it will control the number ranges and the document types we are going to define and processing time and the screen layout at document level. Screen layout at document level is nothing but what are the fields, what are the screens which are necessary to maintain the purchase requisition in the SAP system. So first of all, we have to define the number ranges to record the transaction of a purchase requisition. So click on define number ranges and change intervals, and try to look at the free interval and use that free interval here. Here 9 to 10 is there. I can go for 11 to 19 is also there. And 20 to 40, yeah. So 20 to 40 is there. So I'm creating one new number in ZN, which is 50 to 200, for example. So this is already being used. Okay. Oh, it is not usable. So it is not used here. Here it is used 100 to 999. Oh, it was taken very long. I'm changing to 200 so that I can able to maintain from, yes, 201 to 500. Now save. So that means whenever we record a transaction of purchase requisition in the system, automatically the system is going to propose the number from the 201 to 500 here. And after defining the number ranges, you have to define the document types here. Define document types, and the standard document type for purchase requisition is NB. NB is the standard purchase requisition document type. So these people are removed the standard one only. That's very nice. Yeah, anyway, so this NB we are going to select here and click on copy here and give a new name. For example, ZNNB. This is for Nestle. Okay, Nestle purchase requisition. And here item number interval 10. Item number interval is nothing but, for example, in a order. So in a order, if you see, okay, so I'm entering one in my purchase requisition. If you see, I have entered first material. For example, 500643. This is my first material I have entered, and one more material 500644. So if I am entering like this the material numbers, then automatically it should be assigned 10. This is 10. This is 20. Again 30, 40, like this. These are going to be called as your item numbers. They are not material numbers, they are all item numbers. How many items that have been included in this particular purchase equation. So that item numbers how to determine by the system. So with the interval of 10. So that means first item is going to be 10, then second material 20, like that it will generate. And here number range internal, what is the number range we created? Zn. So just you press enter and click on copy all and then save it. Save it in the same request. So I'm trying to create one more request here. Just go to here and I'm creating Nestle purchasing process. So in other request that I'm saving this purchasing process. Once you create the purchase requisition document, then we have to create the processing time. The processing time is nothing but today is the date. For example, on 10th of today, I created one purchase requisition for these materials, and how much time it will take to convert this purchase requisition to purchase order. How much time it will take, either 1 day or 2 days or 3 days, in a days. So that we are going to represent in the processing time here. Just click on this processing time, and this processing time will be at plant level, and my plant is 3435. At this plant level, it will take 1 day time to convert the purchase requisition to purchase order here. Just go with the default one only. And once you maintain the processing time, then go to the define screen layout at document level, which will give you the information about what are the fields which are necessary, what are the fields which are optional here. The standard field selection key, here you can see it is a field selection key. The standard field selection key is NBB. Okay, NBB. NBB for purchase requisition. Just select this one, double click on it, and here this kind of the data that is going to be recorded in the purchase requisition here. So in this, what are the fields that are mandatory? What are the fields which are optional, required entry? Those things that we are going to set here. If you see here, plant is optional entry and item category is optional entry, but store location we said required entry. We're just doing some settings so that whenever a user is executing the purchase requisition, the time the system automatically asks the user to enter this required entries. Optional entries you may or may not. It doesn't matter. So what we are trying to do here is we'll copy this NBB and we'll create a new field selection key ZNNB, This is for purchase requisition for Nestle. Purchase requisition for Nestle. Just you press enter and save it. And the same field selection key that you need to assign to your document type here. Open your document type, define document type, and here you can see ZNNB. For this, you have a field selection key. My field selection key is ZNNB that you have to assign here. And press enter and save it. Once you configured the number range and the document type and field selection key, then we can create a purchase requisition here. To create the purchase requisition, we'll go to the navigation here, logistics, purchasing, and purchase requisition here. And here the T code is ME51N. ME51N is to create the purchase requisition here. Just select here, and as I said, we are going to maintain the information of the purchase requisition at header level as well as item level. You will see here header and item. Header and item level that we are going to maintain the purchase requisition, purchasing documents. First of all, you need to select the document type here. So what is the document type we created? That is Nestle PR. Here you see Nestle PR is there. That you select here. And in the header data, you don't have to do anything here. Just need to enter why we are creating this purchase requisition. Just some information about this purchase requisition. And in the item overview, you have to enter the material. So what is the material we created? Yeah, we'll go with the material type here. We'll search the material with the material type. ZNNH. This is the material type. Oh, ZNRH. Yes. So we'll go with the material 643. Yeah. So and how much is the quantity that is required? For example, 10. And now when you press enter, automatically it will ask to enter the plant. See, enter plant. What do you mean by this? Because the plant is the required entry, the user needs to enter the plant here, 3435. Once you enter the plant, then it will ask the storage location. Because we have set in the field selection key, the storage location also mandatory. So what is the storage location? 0001. Yeah, so now everything you have entered correctly, and you just need to click on check button. So when you click on check button, it should show no message issued during check. That means all the data has been entered in the purchase requisition properly without any missing. So once you enter the material in the item overview button, if you open material data, in the material data it will pick the material number from the material master data and the text and material group from the material master data. And how much is the quantity we require? 10, which is not at order, which is just requested. And here the delivery date is 11th, one day only we are asking. And valuation, it will give you the whether it is required to have a goods receipt and invoice receipt. That we are going to set it automatically. And in the source of supply, if there are a fixed vendor, then we can able to assign those fixed vendor to this purchase requisition, so that the purchasing executive or senior purchasing officer will directly make an order to that vendor only. So status, it is not blocked here, and contact person is something like who is created. This is the user name training one. Okay, the name of the user who created this purchase requisition, and the purchasing group and everything that you can see. The delivery address is going to be your plant, the location where the delivery should be done. Once this all the data has been determined in purchase requisition, just click on check, and you should see no message issued during check. Once you got this message, then you can simply save the purchase requisition. Once you save it, see, this is the number range we have assigned to the document type. So the very first number 201 is selected. So like this way that you have to create the PR, purchase requisition, in the system. Are you able to follow me, Robert, or am I going very fast?
Yes. No, you're doing great. Doing great. It's all coming together.
Yeah. That's
Yeah.
cool. That's cool. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Yeah.
I request you to do create some info record as well as source list and create a purchase requisition by configuring this configuration. And you
Okay.
have the document PR purchase requisition. A document will be there in SAP GIF folder. Open that purchase requisition
Okay.
document, and here you can see how to create a purchase requisition and how to configure the purchase requisition. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So what is defined
Very good.
processing time and everything. So follow this and create one purchasing run and save it.
Okay.
Okay. So tomorrow
All
we'll
right.
see the source determination and RFQs that we'll see in tomorrow session. Okay.
All right.
All right.
Sounds good.
Yes, sir. You
All
have
right.
any questions with you, Robert?
Let's see. Oh yeah, I did have one.
Mm,
When you're creating,
mm,
and you come across, you got internal and external.
mm.
Okay. What what's the difference between internal and external? You got
Yeah.
different number range, and the
Yes.
internal is that within the company, and external is outside the company, or
No,
what?
no, 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 no. Not like that. Not like that. Internal or
No.
external means internal is a number range so that the system will propose a number from that range of numbers. If you use external, then while maintaining the information itself, for example, my purchase requisition, I have used external. So while creating it, I have to maintain the number here. What is the number that I am assigning for this transaction? So that is called external. If I am using internal, system will propose a number once I save that transaction, like this 201. Okay. So that is the basic difference between your internal and external. Internal will the number range, system will propose a number from that number range. External means user needs to enter the number while he maintaining the information of the data in the SAP system.
Hmm. Okay.
Okay, all right?
Already. Good
Yeah,
deal. All right. But
yeah.
do some more practicing. And
Yes. You need to
something I
do
don't
some
understand,
hands-on.
I'll write my questions down.
That's good. That's good. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, Robert. We'll see you tomorrow
All
at the
right.
same time. Okay, not at
Oh,
11:30, 10:30. Okay.
10:30. All right.
Yeah.
Good deal.
Good day.
Thank you,
Yeah.
sir.
Yeah. Thank
You
you.
have a good one.
Yeah. Have a great day, Robert.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Bye bye.
Bye bye.